Welcome, brethren, sistren, and other, to another exciting episode of No Theoretical Bias presents Fortress of Bone. Currently, we're playing Splintered Moon, a post-apocalyptic fantasy powered by the apocalypse. When last we met, our doughty adventurers had traveled to a place they hadn't been before. The not quite trade town, not quite free city of Marble Quarry. Marble Quarry was recently annexed by the Dominion, a group of fairly high-tech, high militancy warriors and thinkers and scribes. Yeah, so they took over. There was a major fortification here. And that is the rock around which all the little pebbles dance. There is a sort of slum city, ramshackle village built up around the walls where anything basically can be purchased. Marble Quarry is on the edge of a major canyon system, and it apparently anchors the eastern edge of the Dominion lands. So they found a couple of interesting things going on in Marble Quarry. So, you last we met, I don't think you had arranged for things like lodging, places to stay, food, water, that sort of thing.
I think okay, so who actually had the jingle to pay for a place to stay?
Are most of us broke? I'm pretty sure most of us are
I'm
like
broke.
Okay.
I have 4 jingle.
4 jingle. Okay, I will tell you this. If your needs aren't picky, if you don't need too much, if you're just looking for clean water, a place to sleep, moderately safe, and enough food, just enough, doesn't have to be a lot, but enough food, that's only about a jingle a month. Okay, it ain't delicious, it's not going to win any awards, but it will keep you not dying. Okay, so if you want to live a little higher on the hog, we can talk about that. But basically, depending on how long you were planning on staying, if you spent like 2 jingle between the 4 of you, you'd be living pretty good for a couple of weeks anyway. So what do you do?
Please, Albrecht. I have no jingle. Please, Albrecht.
I mean, if you have 4
Well,
jingle, it's like
Here's an idea. You can work for your jingle.
I was actually gonna take donations, but we realized that performing minor miracles might swamp me.
Well, who says if anything performing miracles? You can just preach out in the streets and see if anybody gets hooked by it.
Now you do have a excuse me. You do have a contact over at the clinic/hospital. So if you wanted to,
Wait.
make yourself
Yeah.
available there for a little bit of money.
Okay, I'm gonna go to the clinic and go work a little bit and see if she'll. Not if she'll pay me to. I don't see, but I hate like forcing someone to. I'll see if they need help and see if there's any paid positions that they're offering. I don't want to say, give me your money and I'll heal people.
I would like to note, we may have an inn to get into the citadel, and for them to treat us, because we have the ring given.
Randrew
by
has that one
Sir-
friend.
We have the ring that we got by, like, Brother Alcuin and Sir Evan. I'm playing.
Is that enough to get us lodging?
That's true.
I'm sure it would be.
The knight that you dealt with was under the impression that that would be enough for at least a couple nights. You're not family, but you are friends of the family, kind of a thing. All right, so brother Xander, go ahead and give me a let's see. When you're offering your services for maybe heavily implied for a little bit of cash, are you going to go at this intellectually smart? Are you going to hit them in the gut with like emotional ties, or are you just going to go for straight charm?
Emotional ties all the way.
Okay. Okay, give me a cool roll, please.
All right, here we go.
Okay, beautiful. Yes, in the light of your recent assist on the cursed interpreter and bookseller, yeah, they're very interested in your unique talents, um, and okay, so yeah, you see, actually, they kind of reserve you most of the time for any extreme cases, since and they're keeping it relatively on the down low that this is magical. So oh no, my leg's all broken. Oh, let's put up this curtain so that the doctor can work in peace. Oh, here's the scalpel, that sort of thing, and you're just yud 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 fix fix fix. Um, so yeah, they don't need the clinic overrun with miracle seekers. So you put in a decent day's work, and they give you 2 jingle for it, um, which is a significantly above minimum wage, let's just say. The trade they give you is there's some twists of some herb twists, and some paper, some salt, a couple of like gemstone chips, um, oh, and a tiny little toolkit, very fine, don't know what you'd use it for, but again, it is worth something. All right. So, anybody gonna go and get established lodgings for a week or two?
I'm gonna go check if the ring can get us that.
Okay. So just present yourself
Citadel.
at the Citadel gates. Okay. Yeah. Again, just a cheerful, straightforward approach.
Yeah. What
Okay.
Ranver's good at.
Beautiful. Yes. Yes. The yeah. Fools rush in where angels fear to tread. Okay, nice. All right, so give me a hot roll, please, there, Ranfair. Smirgalicious. Okay. Yeah, they do recognize the ring. You get a lot of stay here, I gotta talk to one of the, brothers. Just from a conversation you pick up, there are workers, there are acolytes. What does that sound like? There's brothers, there's elders, and then there's like you're not quite getting the organization yet, but all right. So they bring out a brother who checks this ring, and is basically attempting to verify your story. Is there anything that you're going to leave out?
No, I'm not gonna leave anything out.
Okay, beautiful. Yes, yes. How many people are with you?
3 people.
3 plus you?
Yes.
Okay, so 4 total. Yeah, right this way, please. One of the elders did want a chance to talk with you, if that's okay. Beautiful. All right, so they bring you to this nice place. It's fairly bare bones, Spartan. Okay, so there's a place they stick you in. It might be, visiting officers' quarters or something, but there's 4 separate bunks, no bunk beds. There is like lacquered leather foot lockers to put a few things in. They say nobody will be in here to disturb anything unless you specifically ask for any assistance. And places to hang clothes, and this and some inexpensive like wardrobes in the corner, the like triangular, um, again made out of sheets of stitched and lacquered leather, quite stiff. Might be corbally. Anyway, so yeah, it's relatively nice. They do give you. Oh, they've just got a like a bunch of mass-produced copper rings, um, and so um, they they take the rings and they hit it with like a die, to put a particular sigil in there, and they give those to you. Um, there's a blue robed, fairly scrawny individual who takes down all the names and makes note of your sigil. Um, so it's basically the stamp on the back of your hand so you can get back in the club. So just make sure you don't lose those. That's very important. We'd have to call an elder on this. Um, so um, who wants to go to the meeting with the elder? So, Xander, you're currently busy, healing the sick and afflicted. So,
I think we
anybody?
might as well. I think we all might as well go.
Okay,
I'm
beautiful.
good. I'll sit out.
You'll sit down. Okay. So you go into you make it known that you want to speak to the elder. Let's see. This is going to be TDP elder scribe Mazian. Elder scribe Mazian. Okay. So when you let it be known that you want to talk to the elder, they take you into a little antechamber. There are damp cloths for you to take off a little bit of dust. Be awesome. Hey, and we're back.
We are.
Okay, cool.
My Discord cut out. Cool.
Trouble in Paradise there,
Yep.
Xander? All
Back
right.
though.
Hey, you're back. Okay, so you're able to, take off a little dust, road dust, and they bring you into a fairly comfortable room. It's got sort of a little conference table here, relatively comfy seats. Everybody is given a little, it's more than a shot glass. It's like a double shot of water and an actual like biscuit or maybe even vaguely sweet cookie. Um, Step up, okay, and the acolyte who serves you says, "Please be welcome here, friends." And the elder scribe comes in. You don't know what you're expecting for an elder scribe. You were not expecting, apparently, a very good-looking blonde woman, um, fine features, and just excited. She's got the energies of like a Jack Russell Terrier. She's just terribly excited about all this. All right, so wonderful, wonderful. So please, come. Another scribe comes in, acolyte. They're wearing like mud-colored robes, but it's got like a blue stripe on it. And I'm sorry, the acolyte here will be taking notes on this meeting, if that's okay with you.
Perfectly fine.
Excellent, excellent. So if memory serves, we've got you must be Ranvir, and you must be Luther, and you are Albrecht. Yes, is that correct? Excellent. All right. So, and she points at the right people. All right. So, from what I understand, you met a knight somewhere quite dangerous. Where was that?
In the
Oh
necropolis.
my. Oh, our records indicate that the what? Oh, one second. And she whistles up another one of these scribes. Oh, go down and check. Okay, yes. All right. Oh, we've got recent missives from the capital. So wonderful. So yes, was my understanding that the fortifications in the necropolis had been overrun by enemies unknown. Any insight you can shed on that?
Yeah, so apparently these poor folks were left behind by the retreat,
Hmm.
and they're under the impression that they had to hold that area.
Yes, that sounds like a knight of the Dominion. Hold if they were told to hold. I'm so proud of them. And she gets the name from you. Oh yes, he was assigned there. Do the records? Yes. Okay. Yes. And the other acolyte comes bustling in and says, "Oh, yes, wonderful news. The knight and his brother were made themselves known at another outpost, and apparently they're doing quite well. And they had asked if anybody fitting your descriptions had made themselves known to us, so we will be able to send a wonderful little note back to the good knight. Excellent, excellent. I'm so pleased with that. All right. Well, thank you again on behalf of the Dominion. Um, you've truly done us a good turn. What? Oh, oh, um, there's someone who'd like to meet you.
Okay.
Is that? Oh, yes, please. And she stands up, and in walks this knight. Um, he's seen some stuff. Okay, he's still in full armor. Um, uh, blade and scabbard. His armor is quite dinged up. This is not new. This is not his first, second, or 17th rodeo. All right. Um, not a terribly large individual, but impressive. Carries himself with the air of somebody used to being in charge of things. And he walks in. He's got a full face helm, pops up. He strips off his gauntlets, sets them on the table, takes off his helmet, sets it down. Two things. One, he looks serious, but there's kind of a smile in his eyes. Two, he is covered in tribal tattoos. Down both cheeks, across the forehead, you see him on his hands. And based on phenotype, genotype, mesotype, this is a uh, this person was an indigenous folk in this land. Um, and he finally lets the smile hit his eye, hit his mouth, and he comes around the table and shakes all of your hands. And he introduces himself as Sir Fidelis. Um, and he says, when I heard my old friend and mentor had fallen, I poured out the libations for him. Too soon, too soon, it turns out. Now I will owe my friend another drink, and I understand that I have you all to thank for it. So, again, my name is Sir Fidelis. If there is any reasonable uh, thing that you want or need, I am entirely at your disposal. You don't know how wonderful a person you saved out there, and I am in your debt until discharged. So how are you finding the Citadel?
Quite nice,
Oh,
especially compared to the town outside.
yes. I have made a few requests to those higher up to see what we can do to better the lives of the unfortunates that collect like dust in the corners. Um, I will say we do have an education program up. Not a lot of children in attendance as yet. We do have the clinic. If you get a chance, stop by. They do very good work. Um, yes. I mean, resources are limited. We're doing the best we can, but yes, yes. You humbled me in your sight, friend Ranveer. I will endeavor to redouble our efforts to improve the lives of those less fortunate than us. So, anything I can do for you now?
None that immediately spring to mind. We'll be in town for a few days, I'm sure.
Excellent.
So
And
if we need anything, we'll
they've
definitely
already
come to you.
they've already set you up in the visitors barracks.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Again, Sir Fidelis, my squire is Squire Romulus. If you have a want or need of anything, it is yours to ask. And thanks again. So he shakes all your hands again, salutes each of you, and leaves. And the elder scribe is just, oh, that's wonderful. Oh, I didn't know that at all. That was wonderful. Oh, Fidelis, one of our finest, one of our great successes. So could not ask for a finer knight. I quite admire him. So, the necropolis, you say? Well, I will say that certain members of the scribe community here are looking for more and better information about the necropolis. Would it be possible for them to interview you? Obviously, compensating you for your time, of course.
I don't see why not.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I'm happier and happier. All right, I will let the scribes who had the questions in here. You remember? I don't. Okay, I don't remember who was looking, but yes. And thank you again. And please, if there's anything you need, as always. Oh, she tells you the directions to the mess hall. Just show the copper rings, and it's not. I mean, it's not steak and fresh eggs, but it'll fill the old tum. All right, and she bustles out. In bustle a couple more scribes. Evidently, the higher up in the hierarchy you are, the more blue. These guys have got the blue stitching and blue sleeves. And basically, they ask a bunch of pertinent questions about the necropolis, talking about known threats, any issues that you bumped into, any sites of interest, any positive interactions with any of the inhabitants. So, is there anything that you're leaving out?
I am gonna leave out the presence of the Tinkerer.
Okay.
Just because I don't know what they do if they figure out where he is.
Okay. The unseen academy.
I leave that out.
Yeah, I'd leave that out as well.
Cool. The Reki, the rat people.
You're tall.
New. I'm not gonna mention them by name, but I'm gonna mention that there's some inhabitants around the area.
Okay. Like you saw a sign of habitation, but not.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Are you mentioning the bug people? The
No,
bug tribe?
I'm leaving them out.
Okay. Are you mentioning that you ran into some of the giant bugs?
Yes.
Are you
Yeah.
mentioning that you ran into ghouls?
Mhm.
Okay.
Leave out the jungle that we counted.
Oh yes, the whatever verdant forest. Gosh, that was really, yeah, that's way outside. Yeah, that's a prize. Anybody who could hold that, that's a prize that makes the Fortress of Bone look like a, 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 a puddle the size of your shoe. Okay, that's something's going on there. But all right, so they're very interested in that. They're very interested in any locations or landmarks that you found there. If you heard anything off in the distance, if you have any um, any specific information about the inhabitants. They do ask you a lot when they find out that you were at an outpost and the fortress there. They ask you some things. Okay, that there's a lot of nodding. Okay, that fits with the information that we've got. Excellent, excellent. All right. Well, thank you so very much, gentle beings. Enjoy your stay. And the scribes leave. One of the other acolytes, this one's got like a gray stripe. Calluses on the hand, Albrecht. This person has held weapons and apparently is learning or knows already how to use them. And you're taken back to your barracks. They said the gates, without big permission, the gates are usually closed like an hour after sundown. So, but feel free to come and go at your leisure. All right. So where do you go? What do you do?
I think I'm gonna go back to where we're all staying and kind of want to talk to everybody about this.
Okay. Let's say that Brother Xander has gotten off shift. It wasn't particularly busy today. And you're welcome back anytime, good brother. All right, so you're in your little barracks there. Oh, there's probably a little table with some chairs, so it's comfy. What do you do?
Well, I'm gonna definitely fill Xander in on everything, including Sir Fidelius.
Okay. One of the things I don't think Xander loves is what is he okay. Did he indicate like where he served with the people we saved or no?
That didn't get brought up, but again, if you wanted to talk to him at some point, that might clear a few things up.
Okay. I think Xander is again mixed feelings, right? Because it's the Dominion. But for now is just happy to be sleeping somewhere that's not the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So
Beautiful. All right. Anything else before sundown?
are they putting any like personnel on us or anything like that, or is it just like, oh, you're visitors, you can come, you can go?
At meal times, an acolyte does show up and knock on the door gently and say, the mess is open for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Yeah, Albrecht, you and Xander know any military cook will feed you anytime, day or night. You just have to let them tell you how much they don't have to do it. I don't have to do this, All right. Come rolling in here at 3:00. I don't have to cook eggs. I don't have to. You're right, Cookie. You're right. I'm so sorry. Yeah. You rule. I'm sorry. So just remember. All right. And that's about it. Yeah. You don't seem to be under guard. Though again, this is a bustling little fortress. There are trade caravans that come in, or supply caravans that come in fairly regularly. You see one the one evening, and one the first thing tomorrow morning. They send out patrols. They've got some kind of presence out in the shanty town. Yeah, this is a working fortification on the border. So what are y'all
Okay.
doing?
I might actually see if I can. Do you have like a library of some sorts?
Oh, of course, of course. Now, um, library access is typically restricted, um, but perhaps if you were to, I don't know, talk to somebody who is happy with you, um, that might change.
Then I'm gonna go see the Good Night.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Um, yeah, you have to chase him down just a little bit because he's actually eating. Um, he invites you in. He's got a fairly nice setup where he's at, and it's it's interesting. It's not like 10 times better than everybody else. It's like maybe 2 steps up from what you've got. You know, the bed's a little nicer, the the armoire is a little bigger. There's a stand, um, there's a stand for his armor. He's got like it's like a mini suite, but the other part of the suite is Squire taking care of stuff. So yes, and he invites you in and have a few things. The bread is the loaves are a little bit larger, the maybe a little bit fresher, but other than that, he's pretty much on par with the rest of the troops. Um, yes, I can certainly petition to have you give you some access to the library, friend Ranvir. Was there anything in particular you were looking for?
Anything in particular? I'm just studious. I like to learn more about the Dominion
Oh,
stuff surrounding it.
oh, well, you have many like-minded individuals here. Yes, knowledge and learning is terribly important to us. Education is the key to growth, both as a society and as an individual. In fact, let me walk you on down. And so go ahead and give me a. You can either roll plus sharp or plus hot. Your call.
Sharp.
Sharp. Okay. Oh, well, mercy. All right. So, they you speak briefly um to one of the scribes there, um, asking for access. The scribe looks to Sir Fidelis, who nods very gently, and you're given over into the hands of a caretaker, a different type of scribe, apparently. And they start a little small talk, and you just start talking. And apparently, you hit an interest button on this caretaker, and the two of you are just like, "Blah, blah, 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 blah. Oh, and then, blah, 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 and if you do this, blah, 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 and then I read, blah, blah, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you read that. Oh, I thought I was the only one who ever did. Oh, okay, cool. Okay. So you're in. Basically, got the run of the place. Now, if you want um, copies of anything, they do have a dedicated scribe group that is copying like important texts, uh, old textbooks, if they've got any, that sort of thing. So they're fairly expensive. But if you did want a copy, and anything that you want a copy of, if they have it, they'll potentially part with it for a price. If you want something that they don't have multiple copies of, you'll have to wait for them to make 2 additional copies, one to sell you and one to have an extra copy just in case. So, again, are you looking for anything in particular?
Probably the main thing I'm focusing on is Dominion history because I kind of just came on the scene randomly.
Oh, okay. Well, the fact that you're interested in that, no, there's quite a bit. There's quite a bit. Go ahead and give me a sharp roll, please. Okay. Okay. They give you some basic primers. They read sort of like, not exactly children's books, but like two steps up. This is where we came from. This is what we do. This is how we're growing. This is everything that we've got in mind, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so as the story goes, a long time ago, there was a big, big war, the last war, the biggest war. And lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people died. And everybody fought with everybody else. And it was very sad. And magic went berserk. And so off to the west was the word sort of translates to monastery, center of learning, history. It was a library, basically, but it was a library out in the middle of the wilderness, up, mountain pass, someplace up in there. Go up in the mountain pass, take a left, and there it is. That was defended by some brave defenders. They had a little bit of water, they had a little bit of food that they were growing up there, enough to keep the librarians going. And they realized that everything had really gone to hell. And so they were hunkered down, protect the knowledge, protect the librarians, protect each other, brotherhood. And they were doing okay. And then these 3 knights, badly injured, 3 knights, 3 squires, and a few retainers, showed up at their door and begged for assistance. And they brought them in. And again, magical healing wasn't working anymore, but they did have some, decent chirurgeons and a few alchemists. That seems to be working still. And they healed them up. And the 3 knights pledged to defend the library forever. And that just started growing. The refugees would show up and they're like, well, we don't have enough space to feed you. We don't have any place to, oh, well, we have a little bit of knowledge about how to make farmland better. Okay. We've got a little bit of knowledge on how to gather water from the air and stuff. Okay. So that grew into a few villages. The villages needed protection. That grew into a few fortresses. Had to see some threats coming. That grew to some outposts. And it just kept going. So at some point, they started calling themselves the Dominion. And they took on kind of a caretaker role. They're like, the world is not the way it used to be. And maybe if we all work hard enough, we can get it livable. We can get it so people aren't worried about raiders, and they're not worried about dying of hunger and thirst, and they're not, just desperately poor. Maybe we can make this a better place with a little discipline, with a lot of knowledge. Okay. So that was the overview. You're flipping through it and you hear a chuckle behind you, and there's Sir Fidelis. He's been reading over your shoulder. He's like, yeah, I'm a success story on that, by the way.
Really?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. My people are tribes folk, not here, but anyway. Um, and a few generations ago, we came under Dominion hegemony and protection, and so they needed workers. They needed workers to run the fungus farms and this and that. So my grandfather was a worker, and he was a good one, and he raised a bunch of kids. And my father signed up to be a guardian soldier, and he was a good one. He was a really, really good one. Um, Honestly, the Dominion doesn't really care what you look like, um, as long as you're capable of contributing to the greater good. So, and my father was quite a good soldier. Um, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about him, and I don't know if I can say that about anybody else. Um, so at the end of his term of service, he was granted official squire status. After 30 years of service, he was granted official squire status, um, which got me an opportunity. And so I served as a squire to um, my first night until he died. Um, Died well. And then I served as squire to our mutual friend. Um, Good man, good man. Taught me a lot. Taught me a lot. And um, one of the last things my knight did before he went off for the ill-fated Necropolis missions was he knighted me. So here I am. So anyway, I have a few things to take care of. If I can, do you need anything? Can I leave you in the care of the scribes here?
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Thank you.
No, no. It's gonna go. It's gonna be a long while before it's anything other than no, thank you. So he leaves. What's everybody else doing? Start with the Albrecht. What are you doing?
Albert is, at least there's not anything in particular, but I don't know, Albert almost feels like getting up to some trouble, or at least maybe going back to whatever. I forget. I forget. How is it, like Ginnard, something like that?
Who?
It's the one that Xander healed of the curse.
Oh, yeah, you could talk to him about. Now there are some people out on the. Excuse me. There are some people out on the practice field. Doing
Albert
some.
would rather do that instead then.
I'm sorry. What?
I say if there's people out on a practice field, brother, Albert would probably like to do that instead.
Okay, beautiful. You got a bunch of young guardians and some squires doing some Pell work. Pell is basically where you put up a target for you to practice swordsmanship on. You've done it. You've done it. You've had sergeants make you work the Pell until it feels like your arm is going to fall off, but you never forget that motion after you've done it 8,000 times. You do have a couple squires under the watchful eye of some knights. They've got blunted weapons, and they're doing some sword and board work. Archery. Some of the guardians are doing crossbow training and whatnot. It's again, you've been around a lot of kings and warlords who didn't train their troops this well. These folks know what they're doing. So anyway, so you're standing there by the field. Anything you wanted to get involved in?
Albrecht almost wants to probably show off a little bit.
Oh, okay.
At least the thing that goes through my head is
Okay.
that Albrecht does not really care about the whole like quick sword. It's much more what I as a player want to do is have Albrecht show off by like taking his hammer and swinging as hard as he can at one of the things to try and like break it
Okay.
if they would allow him.
Okay. Give me a hard roll, please.
There we go. And let's find out. Now, roll 20 has been weird. Sometimes it creates like a box around the thing instead of actually clicking it.
Right.
You know what? I'll just roll 2d6 and I'll just add my modifier.
Perfect. Okay.
9.
9. Okay. Yeah, you're doing some fairly serious damage to this Pell. Excuse me, friend. Excuse me. You think it's a brother from the insignia? Um, excuse me. Would you would you care to show some of the youngsters some of that hammer technique and maybe not mess up all of our all of our gear, good friend?
Well, I can promise that I can show off, but whether or not your dummies will be standing afterwards, we'll have to see. 'Cause if your soldiers are not going as much to destroy your enemy, then they will always come back.
Huh. All right. Um, hmm. There is a knight there who's been listening to you, and do you mind a little sparring, friend?
Why, are you interested? What does this knight look like?
Um, Relatively old comparatively. Probably I don't know, 40s. Um,
So I would say probably because I put Albrecht at about that age as well.
yeah, he's definitely a veteran of more than one fight. The blade he's got is not new. It's got some like new fittings on it. Obviously, the hilt has been rewrapped fairly recently, but again, all of his gear shows a lot of sign of hard use. Um, and he says, "Now, do you fight with a shield?
Nope, Albrecht is two-handed hammer.
Two-handed hammer. All right. So he goes over. There's a rack of blunted weapons, and he picks up a two-handed sword. Um, all right. If you don't mind, um, I'd like you to show some techniques. If we can go about like 1/4 speed here, just so that the kids can see what you're doing. All right, and I'll probably stop us a few times to point out what it is you're doing. All good?
With disappointment in Albrecht's voice, you will agree.
Oh no, don't let your face fall too much there. I want to show you a few tricks. So, go ahead and give me, you can either give me a sharp roll or a hard roll. Your call.
Hard roll.
Gotcha.
Maybe do the 2d6 thing again. It's just being weird.
Sure.
7.
7. Okay. Yeah. You get stopped a lot. He's showing off angles, and he's like, look, because he's taking that step back when he brings the hammer. Yeah, that's gonna increase um the leverage. All right. So um all of the guardians and the squires who are watching, thank you very much. And he puts the face of his helm down, checks his gauntlets a little bit, um, and squares off against you with a two-hander in a rather expert pose. And he says, all right, Try not to kill me. You want to do best 2 out of 3. Just, does that work?
Sure. Why not?
Excellent. Excellent.
Personally, I've never really been a fan of your bladed weapons. I always find the hammer much more effective.
Again, definitely has a place on the field, my lord. Definitely. All right, so let's see. Go ahead and give me a brawl roll, please. Okay. Well, you're hitting a little bit, but he's also hitting back. So you clang it off his probably wouldn't got the torso. You clang it off the armor just above his knee, and but he clips you on the shoulder at the same time. Okay. So he's like, well, that's 1-1 by my count. Okay, so we are at 0-0. Give me another one. Okay, same deal. You're hitting. Um, he does this off time thing. He's doing a sweeping block that you haven't seen before, and when you step in to tap him on the sternum with the hammer, the two-handed blade comes back and just catches you right on the side of the head. Just clip. Oh, okay. And you kind of didn't see it coming. He says, I count this as 1-1, my lord. Yes?
Yes.
Care to try again? Okay.
Why do
That's
I have
3
three
in a row.
nines.
Okay. So yeah, you fight each other to a standstill. You shorten up on the hammer and you bring it around to clip him, and you kind of catch him, but he's dropped his two-hander and he's right up. He's got your breastplate in his hand, and you feel he's still got the dagger in the sheath, but there's a little poke right under the armor, right in your belly. He says, good hit, friend, good hit. I'll take that. I think we're wasting everybody's time. You want to go get a drink?
As we're getting nowhere, sure, why not?
Yeah. Okay, so his name is Sir Jerry. Older, grizzled. Okay, so yeah, so Sir Jerry takes you around, and you swap a few stories. Give me a sharp roll, please.
Let me just copy information first. Oh, they gave
Okay.
the sharp roll fine, but not the hard roll.
Okay. Yeah, you have a good old time. As good a time as you want. He's buying, and the snacks are tasty, and the whatever you want to be drinking is nice, high quality. What's everybody else doing?
Because if no one says anything, actually Albrecht would want to maybe converse a little bit more. That is, if no one else has anything they want to do.
I think Xander, this completely does not have to take a whole lot of time. I think Xander wants to kind of, as far as he can push it, get a like a plan of the fortress a little bit.
Oh, like a floor plan?
Yeah, but more not like a direct, okay, this person drew this plan, more of like he's just kind of walking around, learning where things are. Oh, okay, so that's where the thing is. If we try to come in through here, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So, give me a sharp roll, please.
Not my strong suit. Oh boy.
So I
It's
gotta
not
have the brain.
negative.
Okay, not horrible. All right. So based on everything you know, you have heard that the Dominion took this fortress. everything screams inside job. Somebody had to open something. Okay. This is a very, very, very tough nut to crack. It's got great sight lines for dropping things on people. Um, it's got sally ports to hit people on the flank and the side. Defense in depth. All of the outer walls are slightly lower than the next round of inner walls. So even if they had to completely abandon the outer defenses, they could hold the inner bailey real easy. Um, and then there's stuff you don't see. You don't see a lot of water transport, which says they probably have a water source in there someplace. You're looking at these walls, and not only are they defensible, yeah, but if you went in about 3 feet and started making storerooms, there could be let's see, number of people. You could probably, you're guessing you could do a siege of about 6 months, easy, which would be real easy for somebody to reinforce you. Um, Yeah, you're not sure if you could hold off all the bandits with like 6 grandmas with brooms, but it would be close. It would be a fair fight at that point. This is Citadel in name and deed. All right. What's everybody else doing? Luther, what's up?
I think he's probably just. I think Luther is like in the room, just like going through his like bag or his inventory and just getting stuff together.
Okay. Organizing.
Yeah, I mean, because he got the elemental incense, but he does not have a lantern to use it on. So it's just like, I have this. Now what? I have this other stuff. Now what?
Okay. You Hey, Xander, what's like a holy symbol of Hikari?
We have it. Hold on, I have it written down. So my holy symbol is basically like a chain of light. It's like a sun almost, but it's very geometric.
Gotcha. Stylized geometric sun. Perfect. Okay. So, um, when you were wandering around in the outer shanty town yesterday, Luther, something caught your eye, and it was basically like a little ornamental disc. Okay, might even be a shallow bowl. Not really sure what it was designed for, but it does have sort of a stylized sun. It's not exactly the Hikari thing, but it's, if you stood back and squinted, it's kind of sort of. And for whatever reason, you got to talking with the salesperson about it, the whoever had it on their blanket, and oh, he's actually blind. He's sitting there with a child looking around, keeping an eye out. And again, he turns to look at you and says, you with the fire in your heart, please. Fire in your heart? What the hell? And he says, I have something for you. And it's very disconcerting because he's obviously blind, but he seems to know right where you are. And he rummages around and he picks up this dish thing and hands it to you. Do you take it?
Absolutely. Free stuff.
Okay. His finger touches your finger as he's handing it over, and time stops for just a heartbeat. And he says, I don't know where you dropped that, friend, but I've been holding it for you. You might need it. Please go in peace. So, yeah. And may the 9 smile down upon you. So you've got this little dish.
Then once you turn back, he's gone.
No, he's still sitting there. He's got his buddy.
I know. I just wanted to say that to be funny.
TV. Yes. TV. Um, and yeah. So there's a little thing in the back of your head that says, I wouldn't mind some incense. I like incense.
Interesting. Might as well put 2 and 2 together and put some elemental incense in this little bowl.
And you got the void incense?
Yep.
Okay, beautiful. All right. So, it's smoking merrily, and you get the sense you had a teacher way back when that left a positive impression on you. And when you were doing something, when you were learning something, when you were reading something, when you were practicing something, sometimes that teacher would stand behind you and you could kind of feel him. You kind of knew. Maybe you didn't hear him, maybe you didn't see him, but you're like, oh, okay, they're right behind me watching me do some stuff, right? Vaguely comforting in a way. You get that same feeling, um, and there's not a sound of it, but there's a feeling of ah, just a taking in and a relaxing release. Okay, the incense eddies a little bit. And write down that you have +1 forward to your next crucible move. Ranvir, write down that you have +1 preparation or bolster. Basically, that's a +1 that you can use at any time for any roll. Okay. So, Albrecht, we're back to you. What did you want to talk to Sir Jerry about? You are muted.
Albrecht probably wanted to ask him about, like, has he always served as a minion? How many battles he has fought in?
Oh,
Essentially, like, indirectly asking for, like, his backstory.
oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I've been with the Dominion my whole life. Uh, all my family has served, far back as we got records for. I mean, I ain't one of the originators or anything, not that high up, but yeah. Um, oh gosh. Um, I mean, not counting like skirmishes. Um, there's only been about 4 big fights that I've been a part of. Um, we well, I'll tell you about one. Um, and he proceeds to tell you about this strategy that the scribes worked out. Their big problem was raiders because the from point A to point B on to the outposts and whatnot, there's lots of raiders and there's lots of uh, problem spots. Okay, so the problem was they couldn't get the raiders to stand up and fight. Okay, because they knew if these guys would just clump up someplace where we could like hit them, um, then we kick the crap out of them, and they just they would fade. Um, so we this took about a year to set up. we had the scribes had one of the knights. We put it out that he was just a colossal screw up. I mean, just could not pour water out of a boot. Okay, just not two brain cells to rub together. Just anything this guy touched just went to crap. Okay, he was on guard duty, and that's when people attacked. He was supposed to get this from here to there, messed it up. Somebody had to go and rescue him. Okay, and just when he was getting all the crap details, I mean, all of them. And rough. Anyway, so they finally gave him this caravan. They said, "Hey, guard this caravan from point A to point B." And somebody else let it be known there was some pretty important, valuable, cool stuff on that caravan. A prize that anybody would want to take, right? So here goes the caravan, do with Captain, Lunkhead in charge, do. And every raider and their dog came out of the woodwork and charging down. And there was this really good place, not quite an ambush, but a place to stop and like, hey, give us all your stuff. And those raiders came pouring in there, met, Sir Crap for Brains and his little thing. And the legion that we had planted there, just over the hills, about quarter mile away. There wasn't anything in the caravan except more troops, lots of crossbows. That was fun. And just every guy we could pack into those wagons. That was a blast. And hit them real hard, bloodied their nose, but they were pissed, right? So they kept fighting away after they should have. Our cavalry swept in, trapped them, and we just hammer on anvil to them. By the way, I was Knight Screw Up. That was me. That was rough. I mean, because they had to tell everybody, oh yeah, Jerry, man, sorry about your luck. Your parents have any kids that lived? Oh, thanks a lot. So, but I didn't buy a lot of drinks for the next year or two. We kicked the crap out of them. So, strategy, gotta love it. So yeah, he manages to tell you there's a couple. You pick up at least one route, from point A to point B. There's the northern route and the southern route. He does say something about they had to defend one of the bigger outposts, and that was a hell of a fight. But so you got the north route back to some measure of civilization, and the south route. So there's that. The big fight was somewhere over here. You think. All right. So, anybody else doing anything tonight?
Tomorrow we're all going to visit G, right?
If you want to.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's what I think Xander's kind of just trying to pass the time by, getting a bearing with the layout of okay, this thing's gonna be tough if we ever have to come against it type thing. And then yeah, gonna just go to sleep and prepare to go talk to G tomorrow.
Okay. Anything before heading out first thing tomorrow?
Ranveer will be like writing down everything from the book he can remember onto like a separate thing he'll carry with him.
Yeah, okay. You can take some notes. Sure. All right. And your pet scribe there, Alua. Scribe Alua. Yeah, Scribe Alua. You basically, you're in the middle of a debate about something. You can decide the topic. But when he's leading you on the way out, he's like, "Well, I always thought this," and you're like, "Oh, no, no, no. I used to think that, but I only think that. Well, have you thought about this?" And he's like, "We could pick this up tomorrow. I've got some reading to do." So, night passes uneventfully, and who's heading out of the fortress tomorrow? Who?
I am.
Xander.
Luther?
Nah.
Sure. And Albrecht?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ranveer and Xander, the shantytown is strangely subdued this morning. Not a lot of people out. On the tents, a lot of them are laced up tight, not showing any light, lantern light or candles or anything. The few Dominion patrols are looking a little wary. And as you're heading over to visit your new friend, you hear a lot of running feet. And as you glance down this rough alley between all the tents and the ramshackle stuff, you see somebody just running like hell. You know, picking them up and putting them down. And a couple of heartbeats later, this pack just rah, get him, rah, chasing after him, and disappears into the shanty town. And not long after, you hear a scream. What do y'all do?
Okay, let's go investigate.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, it takes a little while to get your bearings in here. If there's any rhyme or reason to the alleys and mini streets here, trails, you're not familiar with it yet. Give me a cool roll.
Both of us.
Let's start with Xander since he was the one poking around. Okay, good enough. Well, you don't get to the scene before many of the principals have left. But there's a poor unfortunate soul dead on the ground. And there's somebody has sprinkled like a colored sand or colored dirt all the way around, and etched into the dirt are two symbols. One of them looks like a circle. It looks like a happy face almost, except it's got an open mouth and jagged teeth. And the other is just like S curves, 3 or 4 S curves that match, that parallel. Obviously drawn in the ground with a finger. But that's it. And looking around, you don't see anybody with their head poked out of their tent or anything.
Okay. Xander's going to attempt to perform rites, hoping that there's no like magical thing barring that. And then if there is, I think his first assumption is to like smudge the symbols, try and take away any of the power that may be in that, I guess.
Okay. No, your last sprites seem to work well. Again, you get that sensation of like a rubber band either snapping or relaxing as the spirit goes wherever. So while he's doing that, Ranvir, you've got the two symbols, the happy face, open mouth, sharp teeth, and the S. S is, what do you do?
I think I'm going to take note of it.
Okay.
And then bring it to the scribe, see if he knows.
Oh, okay, cool. All right, so yeah, not much more you can do for this poor unfortunate soul, Xander. So you all head over to the scribe. He's still in bed. He's looking a little pale, but better. Color in his cheeks, and his wife cautions you not to tire him out. So when you show those symbols to the scribe, yeah, yeah, the symbol over here on the S's, that's stink. That's like smell coming off of something. That's a gang symbol here. They call themselves the Trogs. And that other symbol is cannibal. Evidently, we've got a cannibal somewhere here in the settlement. Every now and again, they'll find a body that shows obvious signs of butchery. So everybody's a little on edge. So the Trogs, one of these, oh, since the authorities won't do anything, we're going, one of those kinds of groups. They're petty thieves, but they decided to stand up on their hind legs and say they're going to take care of this community and protect all of us. So anybody that they think is a cannibal gets put in the archives, as it were, and they leave their sigil and sign there. Hasn't cut down on the number of dead bodies, but they're trying, or so they say. So I think that one will be the third one this month that they ran down. So what did y'all want to talk about?
Well, if you're up to it, we'd like to discuss the symbols that caused your affliction.
Oh, she told you about that. Okay. Hey, honey, could you? And she shuts everything down. Closed for lunch, whatever. Okay. I may have said this before. The Dominion is real interested in information and knowledge. Older, the better. Okay.
Mhm.
So they dug up a trove of books. Don't know where. Don't know where they got them. If I had to guess, I'd say east of here someplace, but that's just a guess. And some of them were in a language that they couldn't read, but I could. It was old Hydrus. Oops. And so they had me start translating, paying pretty well too. Well, I got enough into it to realize it was like some sort of magic book, like one of the old, what do they call it, like grimoires or whatever. Um, but as soon as I'd gotten through like the basic introductory, I was about I was about 3/4 of the way through it. Somebody had trapped it. Turn the next page, and there was just this glowing set of symbols that burned into my head. And the onset was pretty quick, but I was able to tell my wife to shut the book. And it was, if anything happened to me, it was the book, it was the stuff there. So not long after that, some scribes and some knights showed up and bustled me off, promising the wife the best medical care, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, I know how weak I am. Ah, so it was just draining the life out of me, slowly wasting. So, I owe you one, for that. Was there any other information you were looking for?
Do you have any possible idea where the book was carted off to?
Oh, sure. Library in the Citadel. Um, they never let me in there. I mean, okay, I was in like the main archives, but what do they call it? Like the special like the elder collection, something like that. And they don't let anybody in there. Um, so yeah. Oh, huh. I didn't peg you for a copper. You're not considering signing up with them, are you?
No, no way.
Okay. Well, um, I mean, I can't say too much bad about them because I'm pretty sure they didn't know that that was going to happen. But they've only got a couple of designations of people. Um, you're going to want to stay on the useful list. Just saying. Just saying.
If
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm really tired. If if you think of anything else you need to know, um, come back at some point. But anybody else doing anything?
I think once again, Luther is just like, I think Luther this time would just be like walking around the Citadel, just like, ooh, what's that? Ah, over there. Wow, people.
Nice.
I'm gonna ask G before we leave, whether he thinks that the quarry is better off with the Dominion or without the Dominion, just straight up.
I came here after they took it. Um, and most of the old timers here are, I mean, everybody complains, but um, before they didn't have the school, they didn't have the clinic, didn't have law and order necessarily. Um, the the guardians aren't like the best police force out there, but they do kind of sort of give a crap. Again, the Dominion does have a lot of projects that they've got fingers in a lot of pies, and they do pay well. Fairly, I would say they charge fair prices for water, which not everybody does. So from what little I know, I would say the place is better off with them than it was before. But I mean, look around, there's only so good it can be, right?
Okay.
So I hope you all find what you're looking for. All right. And as the sun comes up a little higher, the activity starts to bustle a little bit. Most of the time in the heat of the day, everything shuts down anyway. Very siesta oriented. So when we come back from my biology break, here in a few, the sun will just be cresting up. People are thinking about going to take a little mid-afternoon nap. And another group of people that are first time you notice them. We'll talk about that group when we get back. Hey, faithful viewer, thanks for showing up today. We deeply appreciate your eyes and your attention. You've got a million things out there that you could be watching, and I'm not nearly as good looking as Robert Downey Jr. on the Avengers. So if I get it, I get it. Me and Downey, we're like this. Sometimes like this, but mostly like this. You know, most people don't know I used to be a rapper. I was iced cafe latte with a twist. I knew 2 Chainz when he was just 1 Chain, and I knew 50 Cent when he was just a quarter, and I knew Pitbull when he was a puppy, and I knew Eminem back when he was just Skittles. And most people don't believe me. So we'll be back here in a little bit. Thank you so much for your attention, and count us out, boss.
1.
Welcome back, brethren, sister, and otherin. I just had to shoot my hairstylist. Sorry about that. All right, so we're back. And boy, cannibal at loose in the shanty town. And a gang trying to do good, maybe. Gang of petty thieves standing up to try to help the populace. Also, some indications that the Dominion may kind of sort of be doing a little bit more good than harm here. Who knew? So what are y'all doing? Let's see. Ranveer, you and Xander are at large in the metropolis. Albrecht, you and Luther are in the citadel.
Actually, I think Luther would have gotten bored and walked out to the metropolis as well.
Okay. You keep getting drawn toward fires. Okay, you smell a little charcoal, and all of a sudden you're standing next to this little meat vendor. He's got these little steel skewers, and he's roasting meat over this tiny little charcoal fire. Oh, it smells so good. Every now and again, a little bit of fat will drip in and smoke up. And then there's you smell something. You smell like hot metal, and there's an ironsmith over there tapping some stuff out over a hot forge. Just it feels like your attention is being pulled in a bunch of different directions, and it all turns out to be fire. What do you do?
What would Luther do? If he keeps on seeing fire everywhere, I mean, I think he'd just keep following it.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay. So, one of the people that you bump into, is the old blind guy again. And he's sitting there. Again, a few things that look like they're for sale on the blanket. And this very serious-eyed, like a 9-year-old sitting next to him. Obviously some sort of family resemblance. He's just sitting there until you walk by and his head raises and he's like, Kindler, starter, spark. Come here, Kindler. What do you do?
He gave me free stuff the other day, so might as well go up to him again.
So, if my father taught me, if you ask for it, it's advice. If you don't, it's interference. Do you mind a little interference, Kindler?
Sure.
I don't say the spirits speak to me, because there aren't that many anymore. But every now and again, I get a hunch. You lost something recently. I'm sorry. Sorry for your loss. Grief is always a razor, just cuts and keeps cutting. But I also feel that you have gained something. Follow that light, Kindler. I see a far more glorious dawn awaits you. So, by the way, have you heard the good word of the nine?
The 9?
Ah, the nine, please, please. Martinus. And he gestures, and Martinus, evidently the kid, he's sitting on a stack of cushions. He whips one out and for you to sit on. There's like a lean-to tent awning, so you're in out of the sun. Ah, my name is Ild. They call me Ild the Seer. I don't know why. But so the nine. When the old gods died in the war, the first and last war, the greatest war, when the old gods died, we were at a loss. Some of the people had no direction, but there were nine. There were nine. Eventually, brothers, sisters, and others, they came together, and we had a Dumbo, Lord of Justice. We had Fernie, Our Lady of Passion. We had Salos, Pride. We had Axiabe, Intelligence. We had Duna, the Fierce. Apano, the Healer. Gada, the Bounteous. Kataya, the Loyal. And Bliss, God of Death. And then the Unseen, the Ninth. Together, they reached out, they spoke to the chosen ones. They said, they gave wisdom and advice, and passion and fire, and a desire for justice and loyalty, for healing, for bounty. And I am one of the sisters of the nine. So, oh, some people get confused by that. When the people first started following the nine, we had this and that, and everyone wanted names. And one of our wisest said, Are we all not born from the feminine? Is not the feminine powerful giver of light and life? So we're all the sisters. Seems fitting. Fitting. But you've been marked by the nine. I don't envy you, Kindler. I don't. Those who are marked by the nine have a tendency to live very short and interesting lives. But I see you're going to be pushing us on our path a few steps a little closer to a more glorious dawn. What do you do?
What was the unknown?
Oh, the unknown. In our tradition, there are the 8 gods who are known. And then there is their sibling, the 9th, about which nothing is known. And many of our thinkers and readers and scholars say that that's on purpose, that that one doesn't want to be known or only reveals themselves to those who serve them unknowingly. But we revere the nine, known and unknown, balance in all things. So, have you? I take it you've never heard of the nine before.
No.
Well, the nine cast long shadows, and there is room in their shade for all of us. So, if we are having, oh, what day is it? Martinus, lad. When's the next gathering of sisters? Tomorrow night, sir. Don't call me sir. That's my dad. Yes, tomorrow evening. It's I mean, you'll see everyone. It's fairly family friendly event. Lots of people come to hear the good word, and you are more than welcome. Welcome and more than welcome. Well, he looks over your shoulder. Ah, Miss, if you could see what I can see about your future. And she glances over. All right, old man. Surprise me. And he says, your sister's eyes see a lot. And what she sees, she covets. But you know that, don't you? Do you know my sister? No, no, lady. I don't know your sister. Do you? And the woman gets this hard look on her face. And she rummages around and throws something onto the blanket in front of him. Or would, except Martinus's hand comes up and catches it. And what did we get this time? Good, Martinus. It's Dominion script, sir. Takes it, holds it up. It's not so much a coin as it is like a pressed metal disc. And it doesn't quite say, good for one wines, one skin of water, good for one meal, but it might as well. Oh yes. The Dominion love these. Sometimes they pay the locals in currency that only they will redeem. Makes it easier to keep the money flowing one direction. So be safe, Kindler. The headaches. I must rest. Be safe. And he disappears into the even tinier little backdrop of the tent. Martinus glares at you like you kicked a puppy or something. Oh, you still got your dog. Oh, Martinus notices the pup. Is your dog friendly?
My dog is an angel. Sweetest little boy.
Would your dog want a treat?
I look at Moku and the tail is wagging. Absolutely.
Okay. So, you do kind of win over the kid a little bit. Martinus breaks out some sort of jerky-ish object. It doesn't have any salt on it, so it's fairly bland. but boy, does Moku take to that. Thinks it's just the best thing ever. All right, what's everybody else doing?
Okay. Okay, are we okay? Reindeer, what are your thoughts currently on what we're going to do? Because I am probably just wanting to go wander the streets a little bit, maybe like talk to some people. Figure out maybe if we can. I kind of want to track down this gang that's trying to hunt the cannibal.
All right. I'll walk with you.
Because I think by doing that, we could probably establish some more local connections.
Mm-hmm. I've also shared a few my notes, and
yeah,
as of probably like your temple would want these.
Okay, I think Xander's on board to take the book that you mentioned, the magic book, because I think he's scared of what the Dominion would do with it. The Dominion does things that are like basic good stuff, like set up a school, make sure that you have drinking water, but that's kind of stuff that you set up to, help people out, but also to control them a little bit, so he's a little nervous about that. And he's worried why they would. Yeah, it's sitting in a library, but what would they do if this book found someone who could use it? And what would they how would they test out what all of the magic does? That kind of thing. So yeah, he's down to steal the book, but I think he first wants to bring a little bit of this gang action down a little bit.
Sure.
So yeah, I think Xander is going out and kind of looking for the symbols of the gang if he can find them anywhere.
Okay.
I'll go with him.
Okay, anybody else?
Yeah, I'll tag along.
Okay, cool.
Albrecht?
Albrecht's still in the citadel.
Okay. So, the gang isn't that hard to find. They are making themselves known. All right. Every now and again, you'll pass a knot of fairly tough-looking individuals. They all have something in common. They've got green on them somewhere. One green sleeve, a green patch sewed onto their clothes, green bracelets, whatever. And they also have that quadruple S symbol. And from what you can see, most people are afraid of them. So,
are they related to that religion that also does the like patches thing?
Patches.
You mentioned there was like a street group that had been gathering a lot of attention where a guy with a robe would get up and start talking, and all of the people each had like some sort of patch on them, and then he would take the patch of their clothing that they replaced and put it on his robe. I was just wondering if that was like
not the same group. That seemed to be some sort of like fringe group of some stripe. You do, however, now that you got an eye open for it, you do, however, see a few more of these followers of the Nine. They they're making like gestures at each other. You're walking along and two of them are like, sister, you know, and they like fist and hand symbolism, healer, bounty, etc., etc. And there seem to be a few of them around. a little bit cleaner, a little bit better fed than a lot of the locals. How are you going to get information about the trogs?
What are your thoughts, guys, on just walking up to one and being like, "Hey, how do you become a member of the Trogs?"
I think
And
that
seeing
might
the
not go well
reaction. Yeah,
with
that's
a lot of
true.
these groups. They might think we're
Or cops.
Hey, bro, I want to join the gang. How do I
Hey,
do
what's
that?
up, Brosif?
Yeah, okay, I get that.
I can try to do some digging. Social
Okay.
digging.
If you don't do some social digging, I will. Man, I really don't know what I can do. Oh, okay. I would like. Okay, Xander wants to approach one of them, or a group of them, or however they're gathered, and just ask them where they got their green patch from.
Um, oh wait, don't you have that like social skill?
Yeah, if you negotiate with someone in good faith, then they'll just refrain from violence.
Okay. You get a lot of tude actually. Um, the uh, the three that you're talking to uh sneer at you a little bit, looking you up and down. Oh, look at little Lord Fancy Pants here, come bopping around, deigning to speak to us mortals. Green, we got the green when we joined the gang. Looks like you're in one too. Whose colors are that?
Well, my gang is a little bit more dangerous. It's a little bit bigger, and but it serves a righteous cause. My gang is called the Temple of Light.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, real dangerous. Yeah, we've all heard of him, ain't we? Yeah, oh yeah, Temple of Fright, is that it? The Temple of Fright? You guys are scary.
We're the Temple of Light, and I don't feel a need. I think your comments are great. It's totally fine. I'm glad that you guys can find this funny. Something that I have a wonder about. You guys are like a pretty tough gang, right?
I mean, so they tell us.
Okay. Have has any of you like journeyed to the necropolis or thought about going to the necropolis at all?
No, that would be really dumb. Yeah, people
Okay.
don't come back from that. That's crazy.
Well, me and my
Check
gang
this guy out. So check
went
this
to the
guy out.
necropolis. Me and
Oh
my
yeah,
gang went
sure.
to the necropolis. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I believe it. No, sure.
hey Luther, you have quite a few things I think actually from the necropolis. We have some incense. We could tell you all about these ghouls that we killed. Man, all this other
Oh,
stuff.
ghouls. Ghouls, multiple ghouls. Man, check these guys out. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What do you want?
I just want to know how you guys are failing to find these cannibals. It's pretty terrible.
Well, that ain't my that's Raven's thing.
Okay.
And we've been trying. We've been trying. We probably
I we
stopped
I
30, 40 cannibal attacks in the last month alone. Probably.
okay. Probably. Right. Right. Well, I'm glad that your very tough gang has found these people who they believe to be cannibals, who may or may not be, and just jumps them basically. It's very tough of you guys. Um, but if you would like help finding these cannibals, I'm sure that we would love to help you find them, so that you maybe stop hurting people who aren't really cannibals.
Hey, Chuck, Jack, take little Lord Hi Hat here. I think he needs to talk to Raven. Yeah. Hey, little Lord, Raven ain't got a lot of time to mess around,
Hmm.
but if you can help him out, he gives with both hands. You know what I mean? So he leans back and starts looking cool again. Chuck and Shack, Chuck and Shack, Chuck and Shack look nothing alike. They're not wearing the same clothes. Chuck is like big and beefy, and Shack is like real skinny. Um, Chuck is very dark skinned. He's got shaved uh shaved spots in his hair. Jack has got like floppy, down over his face, blah blah blah. They look nothing alike, but they give off the vibe of twins. You're like, I you just glance, you're like, what are these two, twin brothers who look nothing alike standing here? Anyway, they're like, come on, Raven's this way. And they turn it and leave. What do you do?
I'm following him.
Okay. So you come to this like tent inn, right? Got the got the thing set out so they're serving drinks and stuff. And it's got partitions. Chuck and Jack waltz in with you in tow. They take you to a very shadowy back place. It's nice actually. They got some rugs down. They got like a tent layer so it's not blowing dust or anything. And it's quite cool and dim in here. It's really nice. Got some air vents open for some flow. And at a little sitting at a like a low table on a few cushions is a very serious looking, um, not quite teenager, just like a little older than that, kind of a downy mustache. Um, was wearing a vest with no shirt, a lot of defensive wounds on one arm, and he's got at least four daggers that you can see.
Hmm.
And he's eating. So he's got a little eating dagger as you come walking in. So Chuck leans down. So Knuckles says you wanted to talk to somebody who speaks for the Trogs. Oh, he's
Yeah.
got like a. Oh, the whole vest is dyed green leather.
Okay. I have 3 questions just before I talk to him. Um, what color green is it? Is it like a darker green? Okay.
Yeah.
And then my second question is with him eating with daggers, what kind of is he like successfully eating with daggers, or is it like soup on a fork type eating with daggers?
Oh. Well, honestly, a lot of people have got like eating daggers.
Okay.
It's just a tiny little thing. You spear the piece of meat, you cut, you stick your finger there, you cut the meat, whatever. Um, yeah, they got spoons and stuff. Or most people, if it's small enough, they just pick up and drink the soup right out of the bowl. So no, he's. If you don't have a fork, you can pick up a lot of things with a little knife.
Okay.
Second
And then
question.
my last question was, you said he was almost a teenager. Would you say he's like how old would you say he looks?
Like he's not 25 yet. He's
Okay.
again doesn't have like full like 30 something bone growth and musculature. Looks slim, looks fast, got
Hmm.
very wiry muscles, looks, good reflexes. And again, he's got knife scars on his arm. He doesn't have any on his face.
Okay. Okay, so he said, "Why aren't you here?" Okay. Well, I was actually just talking to the wonderful Chuck and Chack over here,
Chuck and
and
Chuck, Chuck and Chuck don't talk much. You were probably talking to Knuckles.
yes, I was talking to Knuckles, but uh, we took a stroll because I noticed their wonderful green patches, which is a great designator, and it's great for a very straightforward gang and a very open uh, community. But I do think I was asking them, and we inquired about the problem with cannibals, and they mentioned that they've probably stopped up. They said almost up to 40 attacks, which I find really interesting. Um,
Yeah. Um, let's just say that Knuckles ain't the brains of the outfit. Leave it
mhm,
at that. Um, yeah. Gang is such an ugly word, don't you think? Community, community organizers, community
mhm,
enrichers,
mhm,
concerned citizens
mhm.
of this great little town. I'm Raven, by the way, but you know that. What's your name?
I'm Brother Xander.
Brother to who?
Uh, well, you can call me Brother Xander, but I am a brother not with the Dominion. I'm a brother with the Temple of Light.
South of here, right?
Yeah, surprised you've heard of it.
Heard of a lot of things. Yeah. My buddy said that. He said, "Hey, you see that flock of cows out there?" I said, "What?" He said, "Flock of cows." I said, "Herd of cows." He said, "What?" I said, "Herd of cows." He said, "Yeah, I heard of cows. I saw a whole flock of them." Um, um, Temple of Light. You're a Dominion competitor.
No, I wouldn't say a Dominion competitor. We're an independent group though.
What do you want as a group? I mean,
Well, honestly, we just kind of would like to continue to honor Hikari, um, obviously our deity, and we don't want to abide by some of the things that the Dominion does, ergo the less than desirables that they identify. Um, we're not really about that. We don't like slavery. Um,
oh well, yeah. I
so
mean, I mean, they'll tell you they can leave.
but they won't, right? They won't.
3 hots and a cot is enough for most people.
Yeah. Um, but I would like to have the option to like choose what I do. I wouldn't like to carry a pack all day for someone who proclaims to be a knight of something that they find just, but is actually putting me in a horrible position. So,
You saw one of their patrols.
uh, more than one, yes.
Those are all volunteers, right?
I'm glad that they're volunteering, but if they have this hierarchy system that's purposefully, I don't want to say purposefully hurting people, but it is promoting people with the meritocracy. But if they have a hierarchy system that is not allowing certain people to do certain things, there's not much there.
I mean, I get it. I get why they're doing it. Different people got different skills, right? Different different skills. I get it. So, to your question, yeah, we're trying to stop a cannibal. We think it's one, just
Okay.
based on let's just say eating habits and leave it at that.
Okay, if you
Um,
think it's one, then you believe that you have killed him, correct? Because someone is dead now.
ever heard the expression when you all you got is a hammer, everything starts to look like a nail?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Couple of the trogs, we try to keep, you know, enthusiasm, but not, too much enthusiasm. Somebody will hear, somebody will say something about their neighbor, somebody will hear something weird. They tell it to the wrong people, and then a trog like Knuckles or one of, hey, Chuck, Jack, no offense, right? But again, you ain't the brains of the outfit either. I'm like, nope, 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 nope. We do what you tell us. Yep. Um, yeah, they'll get a wild hair and you have to chase somebody down and, they get a little rambunctious. Um, so yeah, we're looking for leads on that, like credible leads. Ever since the unpleasant is yesterday, I've put the word out that we're not doing randos anymore. We need like definitive proof, which is hard to come by. So, so why are you interested? You ain't from around here.
Well, I just want to understand more about how everyone here operates. It's very interesting to come into a new town, see how like everywhere's different, right? And it's just good to know how people operate, especially as someone who would like to bring people to the light. Um,
So what does that mean exactly? I mean, what are you pushing here?
okay.
The
Well,
light.
I
What's the
well
last
I
nice whoa, whoa, whoa. What's the last nice thing you did for anybody?
last nice thing I did for anybody.
Yeah.
I don't know what I can tell you. If you could have Chuck and Jack actually leave the room, that would be great.
Picks that up. He's got a little lazy Susan.
Hmm.
He puts 2 shot glasses of water on it and spins it. Your choice.
All right, I'll just pick the one closest to me.
All right. Welcome. My name is Raven. You are safe under hospitality here. Chuck, Chuck, go outside. Don't listen to anything. Hey, go get me a bottle of the good stuff. Yeah, yeah. And you watch him. All right. So they leave.
Okay. As soon as they leave, I'm gonna say, well, I lifted a curse off of someone, and was able to heal them, and I did this. This was not for pay. I have healed people, of course, as a job in the past before, but this was just because. My friend over here, and I'm gonna point to Ranveer, and I'm gonna say Ranveer also healed someone. I believe they were paralyzed from the waist down. Um, yeah, that's the last nice thing we did. Then before that, we helped some people out. Again, we did receive a little bit of stuff. I didn't receive too much actually. I just
Uh, he pulls out a dagger, slashes across his arm. What was your name?
okay.
What
I'm
was your
Brother
name?
Xander.
Help me, brother Xander.
I think Xander's gonna smile at that, and yeah, I would like to just do a quick little.
Okay, you're at penalty because he's not going to say a prayer.
Okay. Hands of grace.
Okay, good enough. You will take it on yourself. Do you want it someplace visible?
Yeah, I'll have it be in the exact same place that he did.
Okay. Well, brother, I'm not going to say that ain't a pretty good trick. Not going to say. Do you ever heal people like, stitches and bandages and things like that?
Sure. I mean, that's basic stuff though.
Hey, do you like people? Do you like take oaths seriously?
I do, yes.
Okay. If you'll swear on your Hikari, if you'll swear on Hikari that you won't tell anybody this, and your friend won't either, I've got some information you may or may not be able to use. Interested?
Okay. Um, yes, I'm interested. I I would like to I would like to acknowledge first that by swearing on Hikari, I'm not in any way, and this is not for you, this is for me, I am not in any way trying to blaspheme Hikari. I'm not in any way trying to disrespect Hikari. I'm just instead saying Hikari is the most understanding, truthful, and valid thing I know, and that's why I'm swearing on it. Okay, we're good.
All right. I'll tell you in advance. Anything I tell you can't hurt anybody.
Okay, then yeah, that's fine.
So you will swear a solemn oath?
Sure.
Okay. Well, a friend may have come into possession of a few, I don't know, alchemical items in recent times, and maybe my friend was looking to offload them with somebody who might be able to use them better than we can, which is not at all.
Okay. What kind of payment is your friend taking?
What do you got?
Well, honestly, right now, not a whole lot. You know that I can. Obviously, we can. If you can keep it on the down low, we can help someone. Um, we offer our services, but I'm sure that as as Knuckles put it, you are a big, tough group of individuals, so you probably don't need anybody to do anything. But if you did, we're here. There's plenty of things that we can do as a service. There's not too much that we have goods wise. I do have one jingle that I could spare though.
Um, yeah, we need a little bit more than that. Just the problem has been finding a buyer. Um, do you temple light people? Do you do the mixtures and the alchemy and stuff?
Um, we do a little bit of everything. I'm sure you could say it that way. One thing that I do know is I mentioned to Knuckles, and I'm sure you've heard of it, the Necropolis. Um, we've ventured there. In fact, my Temple of Light actually has a lot of people who go back and forth from there. We have couriers, we have diplomatic missions currently there. Um,
Diplomatic missions in the Dead City?
mhm. Obviously, I can't tell you too much. You know, I run my community, you run your
It,
community.
it ain't ghouls, is it? Just tell me it ain't ghouls.
Oh no, we don't. Okay, we don't trade with ghouls. If you want to, Ranveer and Luther, you could tell them what we did to the ghouls.
Do we have anything like left over from that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
thought Albrecht has a trophy from the fish guy.
Mhm.
Um, Luther, you have a bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah, I would say some pretty important stuff happened to me when we fought the ghouls.
Yeah. You don't say. All right. All right. So, okay, maybe we can help each other out here a little bit. Just between you and me, we got nothing on the cannibal. Not a scrap. Um, we know that they're out there someplace. Um, And if we stake out a neighborhood, that's not where it happens. Somebody will just turn up missing. A couple days later, they'll find what's left of the body. Okay, does not seem to be any rhyme or reason. Um,
How
so
long have you been investigating?
a couple months,
Okay. How many victims in those couple months?
4.
Okay. And how many times has it been you were on a stakeout and it happened during the stakeout but in a different neighborhood?
Every time.
Okay. I'm going to talk to someone. We will obviously have to talk as a group later. I do think that you should give us a map if you could produce one, possibly. I also think you should look into your own organization a little bit, because if it has been, every time, then
Yeah, I know. It's a little suspicious. All right. So as far as the other thing goes, there is a hole in the wall drinking spot, right inside. You know how it goes from like out on the fringes to like really packed with people. Just as soon as you cross that line on the way in, there's like a drink and water and hole. It's I think they call it the Minotaur's Head. I don't know why. Um, uh, if anybody shows up there and asks for light singer mead. If anyone shows up there and asks for light singer mead, then that will put them into contact with some people who might be able to sell, I don't know, a wagon load of alchemical supplies. We probably want about parts and labor, ease of acquisition, like 40 jingle for it.
okay. Um, that seems okay for a wagon load. I do have two stipulations though. I'm never going to ask you where you got these alchemical products, but I will say, if the Dominion caught us, would people be in trouble for more than just dealing in alchemical products?
When my friend found these alchemical supplies, they were on the side of a road, just
Hmm.
waiting there. Anybody could just pick them up and take them. It looked like rain. So bundled them up a little bit. Um, they were not in possession of Dominion. They weren't in Dominion hands at the time.
Okay.
My friend's a little smarter than to bite that hand. But it may or may not have been individuals who were trying to sell it to the Dominion,
Okay.
who had some unfortunate series of personal events. Um, but yeah.
Understood. Well, just my last stipulation
Hmm.
is I want to understand your opinion of the Dominion.
Mine?
Yeah, just what your opinion of it is.
All right. I wasn't a big fan about the previous overlords, um, the demons. Um, they I mean, ask anybody the Trogs have got a really bad rep around here. All right, for good reason. We don't suffer insult lightly. The demons were just mean, barbaric beasts. Okay. You know, they were keeping the lid on things with random atrocities. Okay. And so I guess the Dominion don't do that. The demons would show up and take stuff. The Dominion doesn't do that. So I ain't saying they're any better, but they seem pretty serious about that whole, let's get everybody reading and writing and let's get everybody healthy and, heard they got some good work going on over at that clinic recently. But yeah, I don't think I got anything bad to say about them.
Okay.
And I couldn't say that about the demons. Anything else?
No, I think that's it. And just by the way, if 40 jingle is the price for something that may get a lot of people in trouble, I don't know if that's a wonderful price, but I think whoever's buying would be more of the person you need to negotiate with.
Oh, brother. No. No, we can hash this out right here. I'm sure.
I'm not that person.
Wait, brother. Acolyte, brother, elder, right?
Not exactly elder, but close, yeah.
You can talk for your people. I will accept your you as a representative of your people. Do all your people put their money where their mouth is?
Yeah, relatively.
All right.
Except for Liam, but you don't know. You don't need to.
Yeah. Liam's just fine. Don't.
Liam just he talks a lot.
He does. But
we love him, but he talks a lot.
Yeah. All right. So let's do a barter. Acquisition.
Fine.
Let's see. All right. Give me a roll plus hot, please.
All right. Is there a requisition or barter roll that I need to be pressing, or do I just roll hot?
I think barter is one of the options down there. If not,
oh, I see it. Yep. Perfect. Yep, there it is.
Ooh. Do you want to spend that? Didn't I give you a free +1 at some point?
Oh, that was me.
Yeah, you gave both of them, but not me.
Okay.
Can I prop it since it's alchemy and Luther likes alchemy?
Sure.
Proper drop is.
Go for it.
If you successfully prop this, Luther, that will.
Oh,
oh my god.
Okay. Well, you drag it back into the realm. Raven knows how to haggle. And things are going badly until Luther says, "Oh, well, is that, emulsified or non-emulsified bear fat?" You tell me. Blah blah blah. Well, this is emulsified. It's not gonna. I mean, you can still bear fat. Whatever. So throws, slaps Raven a little bit around with his forebrain, and so okay, it's fine, all right. So yeah, you end up being able to talk him down to 35 jingle. So instead of 40.
That's more reasonable.
Okay, and he pours you a shot of something. To an agreement.
Sure.
Takes a slug. This stuff tastes like sunlight in a bottle. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. You may have heard of this actually. It's like, that white singer meat I was talking about? Yeah, this is the real stuff. Yeah. You less drink it and more just kind of breathe it in. Oh wow, that's all of a sudden in my tummy. Oh, that's nice. All right, so yeah, so the deal has been made. You wouldn't you lot wouldn't know any way of finding a cannibal, would you?
You can try.
Because that would be worth quite a bit, a little peace of mind around here.
Well, I think if you could supply us that map of like this is where they have struck, this is where we were patrolling, um, that would be great. And then maybe a list of people who knew about the patrol. That would help as well.
Okay. All right. Well, it turns out it was less of a patrol and more of like a stakeout. They heard that
Right.
so and so, such and such was acting all weird, so they staked out their home or their business or whatever, and watched them for several days. And again, they're not bad at sneaking and hiding, but every time they were watching somebody, turns out the murder and the heinousness happened someplace else.
Okay.
They in every case, it was a different group in a different place.
Mm-hmm.
There was some overlap, but all of the gang members were accounted for during the time frame.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't think it's one of his.
Where was he receiving the tips from?
Just various people around the city. I say city,
Okay.
various people around the shanty town. We were offering a little bit of jingle to anybody with a good tip, and there really hasn't been any, but it's not that much to spend for a little bit of goodwill. And our name's going around now. So anywho, yeah, if we can get to the bottom of that, that would be really nice. The city broadly, let's see here. Get us a new map here. Let's see. Shanty Town. Citadel Town. All right. So over here at the Marble Quarry, I will tidy this up at some point. But over here at Citadel Town, you've only got a few real major zones. So if the city as a whole is sort of oblong, you've got on the eastern side, you've got the drop off, Big Man's Ditch. Okay, it's a series of massive canyons complex. So they've got a couple of airships, maybe heavily guarded, that sort of thing. And so there's uh, some sky docks down on the east side. On the north side, the citadel is kind of northerly, and kind of over to the west. I'm sorry, over to the east. So the citadel dominates that corner of the city and sort of anchors the docks area. There's major roads that come from the south and from the west, major trade routes. So it's not exactly city gates, there just aren't any. But those are some zones. The city's kind of split. There's some major thoroughfares that whoever's currently in charge keeps open. So you've got Southgate, you got Westgate, and then the rest of the place, the zone around the Citadel is pretty firmly entrenched in Dominion. They've got a lot of eyes, a lot of troops, a lot of people guarding stuff. So you got north, central, and south here. The Trogs are one of the biggest gangs, and because they've been so vocal in, oh, we're going to stop this, cannibal thing, they do have a little bit more popular support. The other gangs, now that you delve into it a little bit, the other gangs are basically running all the different parts of the shanty town. You got the gang that runs the sky docks. You got the gangs that kind of shake down people around the Southgate and Westgate. You've got the gangs that are running drugs and trafficking and betting and all sorts of stuff. Everybody's got their own little niche, basically. So there are some sub neighborhoods in the area. The north is basically two zones. They've got like, they call it like Friendly Town, because there's a lot of goods and services catering to the overlords. They got Westgate proper. They've got Stank. Stank is over here. I'll mark it with a different color. This is where all of the stinky type processes happen. Leatherworking, slaughtering, that sort of thing. So you got Stank, you got Central, and you got the South Docks. That's about it. So the Trogs are big enough that they can kind of go through all 6 areas. They stay away from the Citadel for obvious reasons, but they do have a few eyes and ears over there too. But yeah, anytime they chase down a lead, it turns out to be nothing, and they are a little bit small to be looking everywhere at once. Raven is actually under the impression that at least one of these has been a false tip to get them looking in the wrong place. But whoever the cannibal is not uh, doesn't seem to be following any kind of pattern. So what do y'all do?
I think Ranveer is gonna pull Xander aside and be like, I don't like this personally, because while I will help to take down a cannibal, I don't like that we're receiving stolen goods. And the fact that the Dominion seems to be well liked here and trying to incite something among the populace, a lot of innocent people are going to get hurt.
More people will die. The cannibals on the loose.
I agree. I think it's pertinent that we stop the cannibal. I also think we need to get out of this. I think we need to get out of this tent before we confer any further, though.
Oh,
so
I
I think
this was after the meeting.
Yeah, this is after the meeting.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I fully intend. So I feel like we have three options with these goods here. One, dealing in stolen goods. Right? They are 100% stolen. Who are they stolen from? He said that they're stolen from someone selling to the Dominion. So we have, in my mind, we have two options here. We can either betray the trust of the Trogs and tell the Dominion. Two, we can not tell the Dominion and instead resell them to the Dominion. Or three, we can take the stolen goods, try to maneuver it under the nose of the the Dominion, pull it back to the Temple of Light, and then resell it to the Recce, hoping that we can, do some good for them rather than having it go to the Dominion. So I think we have several ways that we can navigate this, but I think we first need to capture this cannibal.
All right.
Okay. It's heading in toward dark, and you'll know that you'll get locked out if you don't head back. Dinner that night is again filling and tasty. When you're in your barracks room, there's a knock.
Okay.
What do you do?
I'll answer it.
Okay. It's actually Sir Fidelis. He's dressed down. He's in a simple robe. May I come in?
Of course.
He nods to everybody. I've heard that you spent some additional time in the necropolis after helping to save my mentor.
Yes.
Would you say that you have a pretty good idea of how to navigate the hazards there?
I say we would.
I can't insist. But there's an opportunity that the elders have brought to my attention that could really use a group like you to assist us in some of our new ideas with the necropolis. Would you have any interest in heading back there?
I'll have to talk to my team.
Oh, of course. What can I tell you otherwise? You would have the full supports, full material support, of the Dominion, assuming a positive outcome in any way, you would have our gratitude. It would require some element of risk over and above the normal perils of such a place, but the reward would be commensurate. So, again, talk amongst yourselves and let me know if you have any interest in that. And again, I thank you for your time. Rest well.
You as well.
All right. And we're at 5:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, about the time to wrap up. All right. So, check your motivational goals. Motivation goals. Again, any of our viewers probably already know, motivation is another name for alignment, but it's an alignment goal. If you hit your goal during the session, then that generates some experience. Anybody hit your alignment goal or your motivation goal this time around? I got 2 no's. What was yours, Xander?
Endanger yourself to protect someone weaker than you.
Okay, not yet. Not yet. That'll happen. Okay. So check your keys. Did anybody's keys get triggered this time? Keys, of course, being negative personality traits that sometimes cause you problems.
I think I hit mine.
With?
Trusting.
Who were you trusting?
Dominion.
Oh, yep. I'll give you that. Mark XP. Anybody else?
I have a question on mine. So mine is act unethically so I can force you to do the right thing. With what I'm doing with the gang and trying to get them to, like, hey, let's actually hunt a cannibal down correctly. Let's not do it in a way that's like we're just randomly killing people. That's what I'm striving to do.
Yeah, you can mark that. There was an old cartoon, The Tick, and the Tick is a superhero. They're trying to infiltrate the evil bad guy's lair. And he's like, "Oh, so you're evil, huh? Yes, we are terribly evil. We are evil, evil, evil. Oh, so if you're evil, eat this kitten." And there's a little kitten. "No, eating kittens is just wrong." They're like, "Get out of here. You're not evil. Come on. Come on." So, yeah, I can just see Brother Xander. You got to be really evil for me to smite you. Oh, we are a lot. Okay. Anybody else? Oh, check your blood, folks. Check your blood. Interpersonal relationships among the player characters. You don't have to like them, you don't have to love them, but you do know them. I know a couple of people were making blood rolls this time around. 2 very good effects, I might add. Has anybody resolved any blood this time around?
I want to resolve the Ranveer blood that I have, which is he's convinced me that basically talk before you act. That was like way back in the Necropolis with whenever we first met the Reki. I want to resolve this one just because I feel like it's like fully taken into effect and is now in the character of Xander.
Yep.
Let me look up how to replace it.
Oh, you can replace that bond with any attitude toward any player character. It does not have to be with the one you resolved it for, and you do mark experience for resolution. Again, go ahead.
I want to give it to Luther here. And I want to give it to Luther for basically coming in and helping me negotiate the price. I want to have it be Luther is a great friend, and we are bound as one. Basically, he's helped me out. He's been helping me out a lot. I think we're friends now.
Wow, I'm gonna cry over here. I'm only half joking. Luther, do you think that would be a fair bond or a fair blood for Xander to have with you?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Well, there are tall ships, there are small ships, there are ships that sail the sea, but the best ship is friendship, and that's good enough for me. All right, anybody else resolve blood? Okay, the big three. Dun dun dun. The big three. Did you defeat a notable enemy? No. Did you recover a noteworthy treasure?
I
Well,
eh,
I got that bowl.
You got the bowl. It's I mean, now it's an incense burner, we don't judge. No, probably if you can somehow recover that shipment of alchemical supplies, that would be worthwhile, even if you had to pay for it. And did you learn something new about the nature or realities of this world?
yes.
Yes, you did. Everybody mark XP. You guys are all making all your rolls today, right? Did we have
Yeah.
any failures? Jeez.
Albrecht
All right.
Albrecht hit like 5 9s in a row. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
it was. It
I
was
got 4 9s in a row.
4 9s in a row. Yikes. Remind me to tell you about the time one of my players, similar game, in a skill that she was good at, failed 17 rolls in a row. That was a very funny session. We laughed a lot, but that time is not now. All right, so you are in a place of safety. So let's go around the golden rule, the gold star. Albrecht, who gets your gold star today?
Hmm. I think the gold star should go to, I think probably Xander.
Xander.
My reasoning is mostly because I just like getting like new plot points that we can play around with.
Hmm.
Now we have the Trog with his cannibal on the loose.
Yes. And Ranveer, who gets yours, boss?
I'll say Xander
Nice.
because more pop points, of course, but also it opened a character opportunity with Ranveer, who's more about like common greater good
Nice.
rather than like temple good.
Awesome. That's wonderful. And Luther, who gets yours?
I'm gonna give mine to Xander because I thought during some of the interactions that there was a bit of sass underlying a lot of conversations, and I thought that was funny.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I do like that. I do like that. Well, when you're like, well, yes, of course, obviously you're the toughest people you've ever met. Yeah, you haven't been south, have you? Not just asking. Um,
Yeah. The
so
reason the reasoning behind that was because I feel like Xander's a very much like I'm gonna come up to you and be nice out of nowhere, but then if you're not nice to me initially, all right, buddy. Well, I was nice to you. Come on.
sure, sure. Yeah, and again, with that ability, you can kind of talk smack to about anybody.
Yeah.
Just don't use your powers for good. Use your powers for good. All right. So, my gold star. Um, I'm going to give everybody one since this was a plot point heavy. Not many rolls, not a lot of daring do, um, subterfuge and fights in the darkened streets. Everybody can take 1 XP, and you are in a safe place for purposes of rest and leveling up. Oh, by the way, if you were down any hits, you've had a couple of nights rest. So, barring any um, debilities, you're completely healed. Anybody have enough XP to break level? Both. Jeez. Okay, cool. All right. So get that handled between now and next time. Also, folks, we're heading into the summer. I've had it suggested by a couple of people smarter than me that we do a few short adventures, maybe a little palate cleanser on this. Um, when we hit a stopping spot here at the Fortress of Bone. Might be me running them. We might have a guest GM. We might have one of our Doty adventurers here sitting behind the GM screen as opposed to in front of it. So stay tuned for that. And thank you all again for coming to watch Fortress of Bone from No Theoretical Bias. The game we're playing is Splintered Moon, on sale now at itch.io and DriveThruRPG for Horseman Publishing. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, complaints, kudos, conundrums, any good recipes for oatmeal chocolate chip cookies, please do get a hold of us on our chat there at No Theoretical Bias. Please do join us at our Discord, which I believe is also in there. Links in the comments. And thanks again for showing up. We deeply appreciate you. No show is any good without an audience. So thanks for doing your part. All right, folks, I am